that speaking skills are much like a storefront. Imagine if you walked into a store in the mall that's Rob's. And it's a beautifully laid out store, very modern. All the fixtures are very nice. Nice cash register. There I am in a suit, ready to make a sale. And you look around and you notice there's really nothing in the store. There's nothing to buy except by the cash register. There's a couple CD sets. How to Build Your Own Store by Rob Christensen. If you looked around this empty store, in this upscale mall, this very nice facility, nice location, but no real products except for that How to Build a Store product, how likely would you be to buy that product from me? Probably not very likely. A few people might. I'm dressed well, I've got a nice location, I must have done something right. But I'm not really selling anything. I'm not making any money with my store yet, or at least you can't figure out how I'm making very much money with the store. So it may not be the ideal person to buy that product from. And the question would obviously come up, why do you have this beautiful storefront when you have no content, when you have no items for purchase? As a speaker, sometimes we find ourselves in that very same situation. There we are, a beautiful storefront, a speaker with skill to speak in front of an audience, but we don't know what to speak about. Today, we're going to discuss how to choose your topic for our Speakers Bureau. All right, and there are a few steps, and I gave everybody a handout. And if you're online, you'll be able to scroll down to the bottom and pick the yourspeakingplatform.pdf handout. And I'll give you a second to open that up. You look at the very first item there, the objective, discover your speaking platform. The topics that you would be able to best present in a 40-minute lunch and learn format. Now this works for any format, I just wanted to use that as a guideline for the instruction. First thing I want you to do, and I want everybody in the room to do it, I want everybody online to do it, write down 3 things you've done in your life. That sounds a little bit vague. For the purpose of this, 3 things maybe that you've done for a living. You can also write down things like I've climbed Mount Everest, or I won a dance contest. Something like that could apply as well. I could come up with some really good stories. But for this example, write down 3 jobs that you've had in your life. And you see off on the right, I've written down 3 things that I've done. I've been a delivery driver, I've been a manager, and I've been an IT project manager. Someone want to share one of their items?
Piano mover.
A piano mover. There we go. Any others? Russell?
I laid sod for a summer.
Laid sod for a summer? Good. Okay.
Lifeguard.
Lifeguard. Okay. Now, think about one of those 3 where you've learned 3 lessons from that. And you may not come up with all 3 right now today, but 3 skills or lessons from that topic. For me, I chose IT project manager, as you can see off on the right, and I wrote down managing scope, which is all about how much work they do in a project, motivating your team, and Microsoft project tips and tricks. Now, we'll give you one fair warning. If you pick somebody else's product like Microsoft, make sure that you follow the law in presenting yourself so that you're not breaking any copyright or trademark violation. But for the example here today, it's just a problem for me to do this. But I could do a class on Microsoft project tips and tricks. You could do one on Excel, Outlook, almost anything, right? So anything that fits 3 skills or lessons from your job. And then finally, you want to pick one of those 3. Think about those, the 3 that you've written down, and think, what would someone pay for? And I mentioned the Microsoft project. It's very likely that someone pays for that already. Do you have anything on your list that someone would pay to hear? Or they are already paying to hear somewhere? Do you have an example, Paul?
How to be an effective volunteer. Maybe.
Exactly. So then take one of those 3, the one that you think someone might pay to listen to, and write it down in the 3 objectives or lessons, 3 results or objectives. 4. And you see I picked motivating your team, which was my second one on the right side. The 3 results I chose are running effective meetings, keeping the team on schedule, and recognizing and rewarding performance. Outstanding performance. Then I took those 3 and I wrote a statement at the bottom. I gave my program a title, and it's underlined in bold. In IT project team leadership, you will learn how to motivate your team to success through, and then you see my 3 items: running effective meetings, keeping the team on schedule, and recognizing and rewarding outstanding performance. This 40-minute lunch and learn presentation will help you focus your team and achieve your project goals on time and under budget. You see how easy that was? Now, that's a draft. I'd want to change that. I'll update it, make it look a little bit cleaner for presenting on our website. But this is how easy it can be to develop an idea for a 40-minute lunch and learn. Now, the reason I use 40 minutes is because that's a good amount of time for an opening, for 3 main points, and a good closing. And it allows for audience interaction as well. Good rule of thumb is 1 point for every 10 minutes. So you could technically do 4 in a 40-minute, or you could do this in a 30-minute. If someone came and said, can you do a 20-minute presentation for our Kiwanis Club, what do?
You say yes.
First step, say yes. Second step, take one of the points out. Say, okay, I can do that. In an IT project leadership, you'll learn how to run effective meetings and reward and recognize outstanding performance. I get rid of keeping the team on schedule and just give a 2-point speech. The nice thing about this is this gives you an opportunity to practice these in your club. Your next step, create 3 separate 5 to 7 minute presentations, 1 for each of those 3 points. You can practice the main point as a individual speech, and you could round it to 6 to 8 or 8 to 10, whatever works for what you want to do to put into a speech, and just give that one main point as a speech at your Toastmasters club and get a response back. When you do that, and the next 3 times you speak on those topics, now you've practiced your 40-minute presentation in chunks. You can even practice an opening, maybe an exercise or a story that starts. For instance, my story about the storefront could be a longer story to open a longer program, and I could do that just as a speech by itself. You practice the components in your Toastmaster club, and then when you're asked to speak as part of the Speakers Bureau, you're ready to go. I hope that this has been useful for you to discover your speakers platform. You don't have to restrict yourself to 3 in any of these categories. Feel free to take your time, go through and answer these questions and come up with your own programs. And I recommend 3 different programs that you could provide on top of the standard Toastmaster ones that we've already identified. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy your speaking platform and Toastmaster.